It is Thursday, so we talk a little bit technology. Nazareen Ebrahim, CEO of Socially Acceptable, joins us fortnightly here on the show. A little bit later this evening, but she doesn't mind. Nazareen, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, Lester. Of course not. When I join my family, there's nothing about time. It's absolutely fine.
Lockdown is slowly, loosening itself. The president coming on national TV last night.
Okay.
Restaurants have cinemas, conferencing facilities have all been given the green light to now reopen. But many people, particularly me, are quite set in our ways now after 2.5 weeks of 2.5 months of ordering online, watching movies online, having meetings online. Do you think people are going to go back to that real world lifestyle anytime soon?
This is a good question, Lester, because I asked myself the same question today. I actually had to leave my amazing work desk at home and venture out into the real world to go use a facility somewhere else for work that I was doing. And I asked myself, do I want to continue doing this? Am I comfortable to be at home? Or am I going to become a recluse and not know how to interact with other people? And well, what is my identity? Do I have a real one, or do I just operate online and that's my identity? So
they say it takes 6 weeks to either kick a habit or to build a habit. And just coming in a little bit earlier into the studios this evening to rehearse and to make sure that our live stream was working, I got to encounter a lot more people than I usually do over the last 2 months. Because I have a nightly show, I could, after our producer Amy had set up the show, I could technically waltz in here at about 7:30 in the evening and be prepared for a nightly show. There is something to be said about human interaction, but I was so set in my ways that I can do without seeing people from now onwards.
It's scary to think that we can operate that way, because I had the same thought process today, the same sentiment about myself. And generally, a lot of people like us who are part extrovert, part introvert are happy to have human connection. Being a human being is about having human connection, but the more we build our digital identities by streaming online, talking online, meeting online, I think we're starting to question if it's the family are the only people we're willingly allowing to have in our personal spaces or to actually feel and touch or see them. So this is becoming interesting, because I know there's so many things we're taking into consideration, from health to sending our kids back to school in terms of education and going back to work. The real fear is can you contract the virus? So I opt then to work online. But we're finding technology is embedding itself so much more, whether it's Samsung rolling out its blood pressure monitoring in South Korea, and they're the only region to have it now, or Zoom upgrading their systems so that they offer end-to-end encryption for paid plans, and they don't come under fire as much as they were in the first 2 months of lockdown. So it's a very interesting time to be alive, not alone, but alive.
But it's also fascinating of how technology is also catching up with a completely almost offline or online rather lifestyle. As you said, Samsung bringing out wearable technology which tells all your vital statistics. Yes, you could have, there have been watches before that tells your blood pressure and or your heart rate and things like that, but lots of more wearable technologies giving you all sorts of information about your health and your well-being.
And this is, for me, understanding this new drive that Samsung have only in that particular region in South Korea, because according to some research that I was doing, South Korea's Ministry of Food and Drug Safety has given its clearance to the Samsung Health Monitor application. This monitor application will allow users to first calibrate their smartwatch. And this is now with blood pressure. So you've got to put the cuff on, that wrap that you wrap around and strap on your arm, and then hook it on to the smartwatch. You calibrate then the blood pressure of what your body is. So it will pick up how your body operates. Then you'll be able to tap measure, and this will measure your blood pressure at any time through pulse wave analysis via wrist sensors on the wearable being the actual watch itself. So, this for me made me think about the correlation between wearables tracking vitals for humans, like your heart rate or the blood pressure, the number of breaths that you're taking. And I see also, this is going to be absolutely fascinating, is that they are assuring customers that the ECG tracking will be supported on the Samsung Health Monitor app within the third quarter of this year. ECG is around the health of your heart rate. Generally, what do people do when they need an ECG? They have to go in somewhere to a doctor with the correct apparatus or the emergency room and get an official reading. Now, what this is making me think about is how tech companies are moving towards replacing the traditional methods of health being a specific discipline or field, and how humans associate their health with that, as opposed to humans having more control over their health. Do we trust these tech pieces in place, considering that there is a significant amount of artificial intelligent systems behind them? And how do we then allow the health sector to develop? Just today, I was on a webinar with the ITU, and our Minister of Communications was a guest, Minister Ebrahim, and she was asked a question about the health, the state of health, and how AI has impacted how health systems are being used in this country. And the answers were very interesting about how the AI Center for Intelligence here in South Africa is working with the health department in gaining statistics to better systems around tracing and how people are served in health facilities.
Now, Nazareen, what then happens to that technology, wearable health technology? There's lots of concerns, obviously, about data privacy. There's lots of concerns. Also, I've read recently regarding Google trying to move into the health sector. And the question is, who then do we trust with our personal health information, which is wearable and then gets sent to a cloud somewhere? We don't know.
So this is the question on everyone's minds. There's a particular piece of software that's been brought in the country right now. It has great success in Europe. And I know of it because I'm working directly on the project. But what the software aims to do is grab medical details or allow medical details to be stored in the system. So you and I as clients or patients can go online, register a profile, put all our details in. It can be medical history, your vitals, what you're allergic to, personal info, next of kin, that kind of thing. And any doctor can pick up this info. So it removes the necessity for paperwork, right? How many of us want that? Because every time you go to a different doctor, say you move area, you move house or whatever it is, you have to fill out more paperwork. And it becomes absolute nightmare, especially if you're getting admitted into a hospital. The admissions is complete disaster with all the amount of paperwork. So as this example of this particular software that now needs to meet certain data privacy regulations or guidelines. In the EU, there is the GDPR that's in place. In South Africa, we have POPI, which still needs to be enacted to its full capacity in order to fully protect citizens. I don't think that we're at that stage yet, while at the same time, AI systems are being put fully into place. And I heard today on the webinar as well that our minister says an AI regulatory framework is in place and policies need to be strengthened around creating innovation, but also guiding it for correct and ethical use. So there's a concern to be had about the privacy of data here. And if our health is being tracked the way it is right now around the world through contact tracing for the coronavirus so that we can monitor and track how the virus is being spread, there's a very fine line about the infringement of the privacy of humans, as well as the public's right to know and the greater good. I think that's where we can find that fine line.
Nazareen Ebrahim, she's the CEO of Socially Acceptable. She'll be back with us on air in 2 weeks' time.